Morning Flosstube, my name is Jess. I'm CrossStitch Jess here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. My pronouns are she and her, and this is my channel about cross stitch, if that wasn't obvious. Sorry, you're in the wrong place. This is Alfie, and this is going to be an update video to tell you about what I've been working on. I've got giveaway winners, got whips, new starts. I've got crazy plans for March because it's March Madness and it's also my birthday, so why not double down and be extra nuts? Yeah, welcome. Hi. I'm gonna get stuck straight in. Alfie is in a very loving mood and is making things a little bit challenging. You okay? Right, giveaway winners to start with. So we had 3 giveaways on my last update video. The first was this pattern, Lucy Beam I Will Find You pattern, which is one that I finished last month. I think that was a January finish or maybe an early February finish. The winner for this one is Elizabeth Aston 4434. I'll put the name across the bottom. Elizabeth, if you drop me a message over on Instagram, I will get this posted out to you prompt, swift. I don't know what I was going for there. Promptly, I guess. The second prize was, can I hold them in a good way? There we go. One of my pre-made small bags. There were a choice of existing ones to choose from. The magic word for this was bag, and the winner was Mad Grandma. So if you can drop me a message on Instagram, let me know which one you liked from the previous video, and I will get that sent out swiftly to you. And the last one, this is just an example one, although you could have this one if you wanted. The last one was a custom big bag. So yeah, basically tell me kind of themes that you like, and I'll send you pictures of the fabrics I've got, and I will make you up your very own custom bag, your choice of zip, your choice of fabric, and either this size, or if you really want a small one, I will happily make it a small one for you. The winner for that one is Kerry Park 2312. I'll put all of the names on the bottom. Again, drop me a message, and yeah, let me know theme or just that you want to kind of see everything, and I will send you over pictures and not send that out quite so swiftly because I am not very fast at making bags. Well done to all 3 of you. Thank you everyone who entered. And I mean, that was all because I'd hit 800 subscribers. I've already ticked up another 30 odd. So I think when we get to 1,000 I'll do another big old giveaway, or maybe sooner, I don't know. I make these things up as I go. Yeah. Well done. Thank you all for entering. Thank you all for subscribing. Yeah. Next. What have I been up to? Right. No, not even that. Tips. So the tip today isn't really its own tip. I have a bunch of ideas for future tips, but none of them are quite ready for me to actually share for various reasons. What I have done though is it's occurred to me that if someone was like, oh, Jess mentioned, I don't know, the magnetic needle minder frame thing that I think was a couple of videos ago. I wanted to go back and look at that, but they're all kind of buried in my update videos. So what I've done is made an Instagram highlights reel. So I'll include a screenshot, that's the word I'm looking for. If you go to my Instagram profile, which is CrossStitchForYou with dots between the words, the little circle highlight things, there's one for tips and tricks. I'm losing my voice. This is take 4. I was tying again. So yeah, if you go to the highlights, there's a tips and tricks one, and that will have a tiny summary, maybe a picture, and a link to the right bit of the right video. So if you ever want to go back and look at one of my past tips, it's a really easy way to find where it is, which video, and it's a time-stamped link, so it'll take you straight to that particular little snippet of the video. Okay, just to throw it out there, future tip ideas. So I've got needle threading because at least one person has asked me to show them how I thread a needle and then said that it was really handy. So that's one. This was a request, how to use variegated floss, like what kind of projects, how to stitch with it, that kind of thing. Sewing method and in-hand sewing, because that's how I do. I mean, I'm back to doing it for pretty much everything except linen and even weave now. How I organise Gecko Rouge kits, which is quite relevant right now because the new start and the restart that I've had this month are both Gecko Rouges. A beading tutorial and a gridding tutorial. So some of those are like super imminent. The gridding tutorial, I'm just waiting for some sulky sliver thread. And I'll get to that when I get to the restart. But I've got a couple of different examples already of like how to grid fabric. So that might be the next one because imminent. Yeah, so if there's any other like tips or tricks that you, or like things you've seen that I do that you would like a tutorial on, or like me to talk a little bit more about, just let me know. I keep a like rolling list of ideas. Some of those I need to figure out how to have like a top-down view, so that you can see, like for sewing method, how I'm stitching. I've not got as far as figuring that out, but yeah, let me know any ideas and I will keep them on the list. Cool, so this month of stitching, so I've had a couple of stitchy days out. I went to the Stitchy Ferret Stitchy Day Out in Nottingham. Try and shuffle around so that he's perched. Okay. Yeah, Stitchy Ferret Stitchy Day Out for the first time. I think it's the second one she's done, but I couldn't make the first one. And I've also been to the Birmingham Stitchy Day. And then other than that, I have just been doing a lot of at-home stitching. It's been a relatively quiet February. I promised I'd update on this every time. I've drawn, you can hopefully see, I've drawn quite a few more icons. Alfie is like an upside down dog right now. His back legs are up and his front legs are down. I don't really understand. Yeah, I'm really enjoying seeing people add to this. I'm really enjoying that the further out we get, the more like customized people are making them. So here's some good examples. This is one where someone, instead of just using variegated thread, they've picked like 3 different shades and done stripy. We've got a Pikachu here. We've got one here that I think is outlined in one colour and then filled in another, I think. Or maybe that's just a really clever use of variegated thread. And then another favourite over here. This has got a little smiley face on it and a little sparkly outline. But yeah, really enjoying seeing this come together, and seeing what everyone adds to it. So as always, what have I got coming up? I think it's just Stitching for Stitching next month. I'm going to a 2-day sort of mini retreat. Really helpful, Alfie. Super handy. Thanks. Do you mind getting off? Thank you. Itching for Stitching, it's 2-day stitching retreat, I think near Derby. I think it's about 45 minutes away from me, which is quite a small one. It's not like I think there are vendors this time, but it's basically just booking one night in a hotel room. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining that. I'm really excited for it being a smaller, more chill retreat. So yeah, I will be bringing this along and adding to it. Hopefully adding to it. I know some of the people going, but I know that I've not met some of the people going. So yeah, hopefully some new Stitchy friends and some new additions to that. Right, on to the actual stitching. So first project. Is this the first one? Yeah. First project to talk about is Books Are Magic. This is on 36 count Aztec Red. It will say on the bottom. I thought I kept the sticker on it, apparently not. And this is where I'm at. So the last time you saw this, I just finished this first book and everything above it. I put this away, making the grand announcement that I was about to read the Rebecca Yarros Fourth Wing series. And because there's 3 books in the stack underneath here, I was going to do, every time I finished one of the books, I would read, every time I finished listening to one of the books, I would stitch one of the books here. That did not happen because I absolutely devoured those books. The audiobooks are like 25 to 30, sorry if you can hear Alfie in the background. Yeah, the audiobooks are like 25 to 30 hours each, so there's probably about 80 hours of content, and I burned through it in like 3 and a bit weeks. And I was really engrossed in what I was stitching on during that. So what I've instead pivoted and decided to do is I actually stitched this first part while listening to a different trilogy of books, Maria Snyder's Navigating the Stars trilogy. I highly recommend oh my gosh, Maria V. Snyder, absolutely adore her books. Poison Study is the place to start if you like sort of high fantasy, and then Navigating the Stars is great if you are a sort of more sci-fi type person. I stitched this one whilst listening to those books, and then I stitched this one as I finished the last of the Rebecca Yarros trilogy so far. So I think what I'm going to do is carry on with like a book per series that I've read or listened to. I have just bought some new books in the Audible sale, but if you have any high fantasy fiction recommendations, love a strong female lead, love a bit of magic, dragons, all that drama. So I'm gonna do the last, find 2 more series or whatever to read and stitch a book per series, and then any other time that I fancy stitching on this, I'll just work on the stuff up here because there's still some like swirls and all the backstitch stuff around the outside to finish. Yeah, made some good progress on that. I'm really happy with how it's coming. I do find this slower going just because it's linen and I have to stitch it in a Q-snap. I'm not confident enough to get my tension right without the, not Q-snap, I don't own Q-snaps. Nudge, the nudge hoop, these nudge hoops. Yeah, really enjoying that. I'm stitching this as part of a stitch along. There's a whole bunch of people working on it, and yeah, really enjoying that, and seeing other people's progress is very motivating. Tuck that back in. Okay, next up. So this month, John and I went on a little bit of a road trip. We went to London and did the Taskmaster live experience, which was really fun. I would recommend it, but I'm pretty sure it finished last Saturday. We were pretty close to the end of it running. I took this to stitch on the train, and you might be able to see I have done the same as I've done on quite a few projects now, of my smaller sort of block coloured ones, where I have used friction pens to mark out some of the pattern. So for this, I've done every other stripe, with the logic that I can just kind of fill in the space in between with the other colours. So I worked on this purple stripe. I think the green I did at Christmas on both the frog and the stripe up here, and then I ran out. I do have more of it, but I've just not carried on with it yet. And I will say I am kind of obsessed with the colours for this. They're like, that's a really terrible way of showing them. They're so bright and like fun. They're just nice to look at. I'm getting my hair done in a few days, so I'll probably take this along and get some more work on it. But yeah, I love how bright and colourful and fun those colours are. So that's that. It wasn't much stitching. I worked on it on the train on the way down to London, and then on the way back I monologued at John for 3 hours about the Rebecca Yarros books, because there's only so much about stitching that you can really talk about. Like, I can spend a whole weekend stitching whilst John's at lab, and he can come back with like a million stories and encounters and interactions and what monster he played and how a fight went. And I'm like, I stitched on one project and I did like, I don't know, 2,000 stitches in a weekend, and you can't see the difference. So when I read books, it's like, it's nice to have something to share. I did not intend for it to be a 3-hour monologue, but he's used to me. He knew it was coming. Next up, so whilst I was at the Stitchy Ferret Stitchy Day, which was like the 8th, I think, the 7th or the 8th, this got delivered. This is my new Gecko Rouge. So this is called Love by Eruda Art, which I believe is also Zazak Namu. I think they're the same person, like business name and artist name. So, bit of a story behind this one. This was I used my Gecko Gold Club voucher for this, and I've had my eye on it for a while, but I saw someone's finish in the Gecko Rouge Facebook group, and you might be able to see down here, there's like 2 figures, like hugging, kissing, whatever you want to call it. I'm convinced that this is a tiny dog. John was not as convinced, but the finish that I'd seen, the person who stitched it, I will put their name below because I absolutely want to give them credit for this awesome idea. They had changed this to be a single female figure, and when she shared this finish, she talked about how she'd been on like a bit of a journey of self-love, and she mentioned having like realised that she's autistic, which is, for anyone who's not been here before, maybe 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, I also realised that I'm autistic, and like it really just, I was like probably about 80% of the way to like, I'm gonna go for this, and that was like pushed me well past the 100% need it mark. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do similar and maybe edit this little bit to make it just me. But I love these colours. If you've been here a while, you'll have seen I've started a different Aurora piece, like a little Mill Hill. So I kind of like that I've got like a little and a large Mill Hill. But yeah, really loving it so far. This is a couple of different firsts for me. My first 10 stitch, my first 25 count full coverage. I'm really enjoying it so far. I am still doing it in hand. I'm just having to be really careful, and I'm not really using the sewing method, I guess. That is where I'm at. There are a few confetti stitches that come around here, but the majority of it is that bit just there. I'm really enjoying how you can already start to see like the galaxy vibe, like where the lighter colours are. Yeah, really enjoying this so far. Really enjoying how quickly it comes together with the 10th stitch. Yeah, I'm doing it with 2 strands, which I've come to not love, but for 10th stitch I'm okay with it. And you can definitely, like, there is some gappiness in the stitching, like obviously a lot of what you can see white here is stitches that I'm yet to do. There is a little bit of white that shows through, but I'm hoping, well, I know when I'm done I will obviously have to wash because this is pre-gridded fabric, so all the threads will fluff up, the fabric will shrink a tiny bit that will help it fluff up, so I think it'll be fine. And obviously, like, when it's on a wall, no one's going to be looking at it from 6 inches away. But yeah, really loving that, and I'm really loving the colours. Look at all these gorgeous, like this is what's prompted me to say I'm going to do a video about organising Gecko Rouge kits, because this is kind of chaos at the moment. I've got some that I've put onto floss drops, and then the rest that are on these floss cards, but gorgeous colours. Really loving that. Yep, cool. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of that in the future. I should say, is that the first gecko? Yeah, it's the first gecko. Rosie X Stitches, egg stitching, stitches. I do this every time, sorry Rosie. Rosie and I are doing a Get Your Gecko Out stitch along. It started with both of us stitching on B, but I have a couple of different Gecko Rouges, so get your gecko out, hashtag get your gecko out. Feel free to join in. We also have a Instagram group if you wanted to join, and yeah, it's a very enabling space. You have been warned. There have been a number of new starts already. On the note of Gecko Rouges, how much of this do I need to unfold to be able to show it? There we go. Gamer. This has been my obsession project for the past few weeks. Well, let's be real, since I started it in December. I think since I last showed it, I think I'd kind of gotten part way filling in this background, so I finished most of this. I've only got a little bit left of the gamer banner. I think on this background I was about here, so I've done quite a lot that way, and I've also, God, sorry, I came prepared for this on board and I've just not used it. Oops. Let's see if this helps. I'm not actually sure I will for this one, to be fair. Doop. Okay. Oh no, that's going to be so much better. So yeah, I've come down here, I've come across here on that background. I filled in, well, this was partly done, so I finished off this section and done all of this backgroundy bit. And then on the other side, as I said, I've come across from the M on this middle banner, and for some colours I've been extreme cross-countrying them sort of in this top 100 stitches. For others I got bored of the colour, so I've stopped. But you can see there's some that I've done sort of scattered stitches all over. I think I'm on about 12%, 12 or 13% now. I'm still really loving this. I think it's got that perfect mix of, I can do some confetti of boring colours, and then if I get bored of that I can come do some colourful colours. If I get bored of confetti I can do some background. If I get bored of grey I can come back to some colourful stuff. It's really nice. It's kind of got a little bit of everything. So this here is like the 100 stitch mark, so you can see I'm kind of coming across and filling everything in, with the exception of her hair and the headphones. So the hair on this is red, you'll be able to see in the little mock-up picture. I'm 95% sure I'm going to change it to blonde, because growing up I had long blonde hair and was definitely a gamer nerd. I think my strategy for that is going to be to just not stitch it for now, stitch absolutely everything else, and when that's all that's left I will basically I'll use Pattern Keeper to show me which colours are left, get out my colour swatches for those and match them to blonde shades, and use Pattern Keeper to swap the colours in, so that I can see on a mock-up roughly how it will look, and then yeah, just finish off that hair. For the headphones I am making it could have been worse, I could have done the whole project in beads, but I'm going to do the headphones beaded, and again I'm going to tweak the colours a little bit, so I'm leaving those two elements till last. But otherwise I'm kind of coming across around this 100 mark and sort of filling in bit by bit. Yay, I love it. Cool. That is that. And again, hashtag get your gecko out for that one. The last, I think it's the last. Yeah, because I only had 5 projects this month. Last project that I have to show is my restart. So this is where I was before, not very far at all, and it's hard to see, but there is actually stitching here. I had less than an inch of border on this fabric, so I had it in my head that I was just going to sew on some cotton fabric, just to, make framing easier at the end, but with the pretty edging. So this, I get this done at Abey Textiles. I take all my projects down whenever I go and do the edging on any that I'm missing. But my restart. So this fabric arrived yesterday and I literally, it wasn't even in the house 12 hours. This is 20 count Longbourn Blush from Swan Bay Fabrics, Textiles, Swan Bay Fabrics, I think. And you'll see I've started in the same place with some of those blobs, but now I have 2 inches of border. Hooray. Yeah, I have measured this and it is actually closer to a 22 count, but I'm kind of okay with that. 20 or 22 are both fine. But if you're thinking of getting Aida, obviously they always shrink, but just an FYI, Swan Bay 20 count comes out sort of 21, 22 count. Really enjoying this so far. I am planning to grid this with the sulky sliver when it arrives, which is why the tutorial for gridding will be next time. I have already made a mistake because of not having the grid. This blob is in slightly the wrong place, but there's no other like blobs further down that I'm going to have to count off of it, so I might just put like a, I can't think what it's called, just like a running stitch around it in black, just to remind myself like that bit is kind of quarantined, don't trust that it's in the right place. But I think from here I need to finish this sort of yellow blob, and then I think there's a pinky orange one, and then the main background starts. I was going to leave this as a March Madness possible restart, but I'm not, like, I don't have any rules about starts. I've not given myself any restrictions. If I want to start something, I'll start something. My only sort of rule or like vibe that I was going for this year is working on the big projects, and this is one that I've had. I started this in December 2023, so I've had this for over a year, the original version, and basically not worked on it. So restarting it was definitely a step towards actually getting progress on that one. And again, get your gecko out. And that this was, the bee was the project that Rosie and I had in common that we were going to work on together and motivate each other for. So I'm glad to actually now be able to work on that one rather than have it be a sort of on pause project. It lives in my pretty project bag. To be fair, most of my geckos live in Abey Textiles project bags with the cute little handmade with love label. Yeah, that is all my whips. I'm gonna check my notes because that feels like it went too smoothly. 28 minutes. Yeah, no, that was it. So to be fair, I have quite a lot of plans to talk about. Another Abey bag for gamer. I'm gonna have fun trying to put all those back in. Cool. So upcoming plans. On Saturday this week, I am going to a yarn dyeing workshop. I do not knit. Ooh. The precarious noise of everything falling over. Right. I do not knit. I do not crochet. I'm going to a yarn dyeing workshop. I'm gonna have to learn how to make socks, I think. I think you get like a 100 gram skein, and I think it was 2 or 3 20 gram skeins, 10 gram skeins, something like that. But I really like fluffy, cozy, warm socks, and I work at home, so I wear them almost every day. So I think I'm going to learn to make myself some socks. What I'm also going to be doing though, I emailed, so the yarn dyeing is at a place called Knit Nottingham, and I emailed and asked, and she very kindly said that if we brought some along we could also dye some floss. These are Gecko Rouge kit floss, so I don't know exactly what they are. I can tell that this one's more of a creamy colour, so I'm guessing this is either a crew or is it 3865, I think, is the sort of creamy off-white, and then this is more of a white, so that's either blank or B5200. I'm planning to take this along. I'm going with Beth, so we'll both get to dye some fancy floss. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. I maybe need to figure that out so I know roughly what I want to, like what colour scheme I might want fancy floss in, but that is exciting, and I will show you that, the outcome of that next time. I've already mentioned I've got the Itching for Stitching retreat, which is the following weekend, the 8th and 9th, which I'm really looking forward to. And then other things next month. So the 12th of March is my birthday. I am having a new start, but if you would like to stitch something with me for my birthday, instead of picking a particular pattern or a particular designer, I would love for anyone and everyone is welcome, to stitch a meta cross stitch project with me. If you are new or you have not heard me mention this before, basically this is cross stitch about cross stitch. So this wall behind me, this is some art that my mum did us with alcohol inks to match the colour scheme in our living room. But I want to move that, and because right behind me, as you can tell from the hoops maybe, and you can't quite see it, but there's a pile of kit floss there. This is my stitching corner. So on this wall I would like to put a whole bunch of cross stitch where the subject matter of the cross stitch is cross stitch. So some examples, we have Carpe Acus, which is a Silver Creek sampler one, which I have as a whip. We have Introverted, but we'll eagerly discuss everything cross stitch, which is another Silver Creek. We have, this one is going to be my new birthday start, so Cross Stitch Makes Everything Okayer by Lucy Beam. I may or may not have recently placed it. Having a bean bag as my side table is not the best. So I have a bunch that I've ordered from Rachel at Turtle Bay Textiles. I think all of those are available from Rachel. What have I ordered? So she's got a sale on at the moment. I don't know when that finishes, but the sooner you go check it out, the more likely the sale is still on. I've got, I think there's a couple of Stacey Nash patterns. One that I think says I will cut you and is meant to be like a scissor fob, and another one that says run with scissors. I think they're both Stacey Nash's. I'll pop them on screen as I'm talking. There's one, I can't think what the designer is, but it's like a little, it's done on blue fabric, bright blue fabric, that's like, my stitching time is remember my stitching time is sometimes for your safety. There's a long skinny one with a bunch of scissors, which I've ordered, and I'm going to do each one in a different metallic thread because I'm nuts, but also it's a good way to try out different metallics. I've got a bunch that I've never used, so good chance to try them out. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something with words. It could be like something that just has like my light sampler. So the Owl Forest have a light sampler, which is lots of different lamps and lights and things. I'm considering that to be my cross stitch because I went and bought this IKEA lamp specifically for cross stitching. It counts. Anything that you can kind of loosely associate, like something with scissors on it, something with bobbins or needles or skeins of floss, like anything, like be open with it. There's no rules. But yeah, if you would like to stitch something meta cross stitch with me on the 12th of March, I would love that. Please tag me so I can see what you're stitching. I think pretty much all of the patterns except the Owl Forest that I've just mentioned are available from Talking Dog Stitchery, and if you wanted to get something new, like there's an affiliate link in the description and you can use Jess5 to get 5% off, but not on sale items, sorry. But they're already like 30% off, so you can't really go wrong. But yeah, please don't like feel you have to buy something new or start something new, but if you would like to, or if you already have something that's got a cross stitch theme, I would love if you would join me. Yay! On the note of March, I don't do things by half. Like, if you were around in December for the new start nuttiness that went on, this will not be a surprise to you. March Madness, for anyone who has not heard of it before, is where people do like a bracket tournament. I'll put like an example template here. Basically, you have like a first round where your whips like play off against each other. People will usually do that by putting the two projects on their Instagram stories and letting people vote between the two. Whichever one wins will then move on to the next round, where it'll be paired up with the winner from a different bracket, and so on, until you get to one winner. Most people start with 8 whips, and they'll work on project 1 on day 1, project 2 on day 2, and then they'll have them play off, and one of them will move forward to the future round. I have no chill. I have almost 32 whips, so why not? We're going to do it with 32. The way that I'm going to do this is starting on the 28th, so on Friday this week, I will be posting a pair of projects on my Instagram stories for you guys to vote on. The winner I will work on the following day while the next vote is up. So that means that of the 32, 16 will win and get worked on. I'm not going to commit to working on only that project for the day, because I know that I will get 3 days in and just hate it. But what I am going to commit to is at least 100 stitches. And there's a good chance that for a lot of these, I'll do those 100 stitches and be like, I forgot how much I like this project, I'm going to keep going. But if I'm not feeling it, I will probably have like one big project that I'm working on in parallel to all of this. So I'm mostly doing whips. There's a couple of restarts or new starts, but like B was going to be one of those restarts, and now I've started it. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so if you are interested in coming along on this absolutely insane ride with me, make sure you're following me on Instagram, and yeah, check out my stories each day starting on the 28th. Round 1 will run, voting will run from the 28th of February to the 15th of March, and the stitching will run from the 1st of March to the 16th of March. And on the 16th, I think I will then do my next Flosstube to like update on that, because otherwise I'm going to get to the end of March, do an update, and it's just going to be utter chaos. So I'm going to do a video update after the first round. The winners, so the 16 that won in the first round, will then go on to round 2. So that will run for the next 8 days, and again, like, the winners will move on. Round 3 will be 8 whips with 4 winners, and that takes us all the way up to like almost the end of March. So basically this will boil down to a grand finale on the voting will be on the 30th of March. The winner will be announced on the 31st. Most people will do this with 8 whips so that they can get to a winner like halfway through the month, and then aim to finish that project or work on it exclusively for the rest of the month. Clearly, I'm not going to fully finish something or even really make all that much progress in one day on the last day of the month. Added to the fact that the 31st of March to like, I think the 2nd or 3rd of April, I'm actually at a work conference. So my amount of stitching those few days is probably going to be pretty low. I'm going to be very peopled out. Yeah. It's a future me problem. What I'm probably going to do is, as I said, 100 stitches a day on the winner from the previous day throughout the whole month. That will be my bare minimum. In April, I'm then going to just have a free month of working whatever I feel like, because I'm going to need it after so much like jumping around. But I'm then considering, I'll be real, this depends on what the winner is, because I can picture myself doing this for some projects but not for others. If it's a linen project, for example, that wins, I would really struggle. Let me say what I was going to do first. May, I'm considering doing monogamous May with whatever wins March Madness. And if it's a small project and I finish it quickly, I'll then maybe work on the runner-up to sort of continue the monogamous May theme. If it's a big project, obviously I could work on it for a whole month and have barely made a dent with some of these very big ones. But yeah, there are some projects I can see myself working on for a month. It's going to be a challenge for any project, being completely honest. I'm not a monogamous stitcher. I don't bounce around within a day. I normally do like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks on a project and then change it up. But doing a whole month is probably a stretch. So I want to push myself, but gamer I could see myself doing it on very easily, like I said, because there's some block background, there's some confetti, there's some colour, there's some blandness, like there's a bit of everything. Some of the other projects are just heavy confetti all the way, or are all dark colours, or like one of the restarts is going to be gaming, not gamer, gaming, different projects, which is black and white. I don't know if I could stitch for a whole month on just black and white, so we'll see. But that is my loose plan. I will confirm, I guess, at the end of March what ended up being the winner. Yeah, insanity. I don't know why I do these things to myself, but I really enjoyed all of the new starts in December. So hopefully working on, I mean, the nice thing about this, it means I'm going to work on at least half of my projects in 1 month, which is not something that I would normally do. So in terms of Flosstube, when you're next going to see me, I have an organise with me for organising flosses. I have it filmed. I just need to figure out the audio. So I listened to my audiobook whilst I was organising. My plan was to just chuck some generic background music over the top. Obviously remove the audiobook audio completely because that is not mine to share. But chuck in some like generic background music. That's turned out to be harder than I thought. So what I might have to do is just have it like you get me talking to you for the intro and then there is no audio, and the whole point is you can put your own like music or whatever, podcast, whatever it is that you want as background whilst we organise together. That is probably going to be out in about a week. Yeah. And then, as I said, after round 1 of March Madness, I will do an update video to talk through the winners. That's it, I think. I feel like I've forgotten stuff, but yeah. If I have, it will be here next time. Thank you for joining me. If you, as I said at the start, if you're one of those giveaway winners, don't forget to message me. If you are coming to the Itching for Stitching retreat and you would like to stitch on my Friendship Round Robin, come grab it at some point during the weekend, or just come say hi. It's nice to meet new people. And yeah, if you would like to join my birthday sale or March Madness, go give me a follow on Instagram, which is where both of those things will be happening. I'm going to leave it there. Alfie has abandoned me, so he's not here to say goodbye. I'm going to leave you with a couple of Flosstube recommendations if you are, wondering what to watch next. Both of these are new to me. So one is the Crafty Shield Maiden, who is Nana. She's from Norway, and she recently uploaded a whip braid. I think she used to Flosstube and then took a break and then has come back with a whip braid. She's got a complete mix of projects, but she's got some full coverage like Gecko Rouge, which I really love to see, and she had some gorgeous fabric choices. I think her maybe first 2 or 3 projects that she shows, there are some gorgeous fabric choices. So if you're a fan of pretty fancy colourful fabric, go check her out. And then the other one is a fellow Jess, because you can't go wrong with the name Jess. The Librarian Stitcher Lady is her handle. Is that the right word? I don't know, her Flosstube name. I think she's now got a second video up, but when I watched, she just had the one with a finish and whip braid. She had lots of gorgeous finishes, but there was one that stood out to me, which was like a heart needle point, which was made up of little squares, but it made me want to give my needle point another go, because at the moment I've just put it aside and been I never want to see this again because I did not enjoy my first attempt at it. So yeah, some really gorgeous projects, and definitely gave me a bit of inspiration to give something a go that I previously sort of abandoned, even though I only started it this month. Yeah, go give both of them a watch, give them a follow if you're looking for something else to watch. I will love you and leave you and be back in a couple of weeks. A week for the Organise With Me and 2 weeks or so for the March Madness round 1 recap. Happy stitching! Bye for now!